On the abandoned road. I shouldn't have taken this road. There were other routes, but I chose this one. I was in a hurry, and the highway was closed for maintenance, with some equipment blocking the way. I was afraid of getting into an accident. They said this old road leads to the same destination and is faster, but no one uses it anymore. I realized why as soon as I entered it. The trees on both sides were intertwined like fingers, their twisted branches blocking the moonlight and looking like shadows of humans without flesh, just bones. The darkness was intense, except for the dim headlights that barely illuminated the cracked asphalt ahead. I felt a strange chill in the air, even though it was a hot summer night. I convinced myself it was just the wind from my speed. I pressed the gas pedal, wanting to get through this part of the journey as quickly as possible. But then the fog thickened suddenly, dense and heavy, wrapping around my car as if it were alive and targeting me. I leaned back slightly from the windshield, trying to see better, but it was no use. Then I saw her, a woman standing in the middle of the road, her long hair covering her face. She was wearing a white dress stained with drops of blood, dirty and torn. She stood motionless, not moving even as I approached her. I slammed on the brakes, and the tires screeched sharply as the car stopped just 1 meter in front of her. She was right there, completely still. My heart was pounding wildly. I stared at her, but she didn't move. She didn't even turn. Just a rigid figure standing in the middle of the road. I rolled down my window slightly, my voice trembling. Do you need help?" She didn't respond, but her head began to tilt slowly, angle by angle, unnaturally, until it was completely tilted. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I trembled with fear. Then she suddenly lifted her head, and her hair parted from her face. I wished I hadn't seen what was underneath. Her eyes were completely white, without pupils. Her face was pale, and her mouth was wide open as if screaming loudly, but no sound came out. I instinctively slammed on the gas, trying to escape as fear overtook me. The car sped forward, passing right through her, which terrified me even more. I didn't feel any impact, as if she were just an illusion. I looked in the rearview mirror, but she was gone. The road was empty. My heart raced, and the air felt heavy around me. I kept driving, my eyes fixed on the road ahead, trying to ignore the fear overwhelming me. Then I heard it, a faint sound, coming from the back seat, a soft, muffled cry, like that of a child. My body froze, and the crying grew louder, turning into desperate sobbing. I felt a cold chill on my neck, cold breaths. Something was sitting behind me. "Let me out." The voice was a whisper, so close to my ear. I didn't dare look in the mirror because I didn't want to see anything. I didn't dare turn around. Tears streamed down my face, but I kept driving, my foot pressing hard on the gas. Then the sound stopped abruptly, and the fog disappeared. I exited the old road and merged onto the main highway, seeing the city lights in the distance. But I didn't look back. I didn't check if the back seat was empty, because I knew I wasn't alone in the car anymore. When I reached the rest stop and got out of the car to check, I found traces of someone who had been sitting in the back,